eating it up. Has it been your fault all along?
Make chicken salad out of chicken shit. People is as people does, that's all there is to it. Put a square peg in a round hole, just never seems to fit. And you can't make chicken salad out of chicken shit.
Here I was, blaming AEW for feeding you chicken shit, knowing you mindless millennials would be eating it up as if it were chicken salad, when it's really been your fault all along.
Make chicken salad out of chicken shit. People is as people does, that's all there is to it. Put a square peg in a round hole, just never seems to fit. And you can't make chicken salad out of chicken shit.
Here I was, blaming AEW for feeding you chicken shit, knowing you mindless millennials would be eating it up as if it were chicken salad, when it's really been your fault all along.
Make chicken salad out of chicken shit. People is as people does, that's all there is to it. Put a square peg in a round hole, just never seems to fit. And you can't make chicken salad out of chicken shit.
Hello and welcome to Making Chicken Salad, the Wrestle Radio Australia show where we talk about everything going on around the world of wrestling. My name is Lachlan Albert and I am joined, as always, by one of the very successful hosts of Wrestle Radio Australia's 10th anniversary live stream, Todd Eastman. Todd, how you doing, mate?
Very successful. That's how I'm doing, sir.
Yeah, and I'm also joined by another extremely successful host of Wrestle Radio's 10-year anniversary live stream, Jeff Setti. Jeff, how you doing, mate?
I'm COVID-free now, and thank you very much.
Wonderful
the other very successful host of Wrestle Radio Australia's 10th anniversary live stream, Lachlan Albert. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing well.
Can you tell
anyone
Lucky didn't have long enough to think of an actual intro? So he's going, I'm just going to go with this.
Yeah, I'm just going with it. I arrived at the computer 2 minutes ago. We're firing on all cylinders here. But if you missed our extremely successful 10th anniversary live stream, don't worry. You can still donate. Head to tinyurl.com/WRA10. You can buy our special 10th anniversary shirt at tinyurl.com/WRA10 shirt. And of course, you can make sure you subscribe to Wrestle Radio Australia right here at twitch.tv/Wrestle Radio Australia to support us there. And you can see, if you're watching live on Twitch, that donate link will be right under Toddy's name, right there where you can see it nice and prominent. Boys,
Gave up my Twitter handle.
That's the way. Boys, we have had a lovely week of rest after doing that 10-hour live stream, which if anyone did miss it, some highlights managed to go up on the podcast feed. So you can catch our talk with Davis Storm, or you can catch us fantasy booking our own little all-time Aussie promotion at 9 hours into a podcast when we were losing a lot of steam. So you can catch those over on the podcast feed. But notice Jeremiah Kingsley in the chat. Sorry.
So you notice, though, looking back, that actually helped us power through that last hour.
It did. It did. It was
because we actually started thinking. Yeah. We started thinking.
Well, look, in the chat, we're going to say hello to people like D. James Fortescue and Giant Coyote and Jeremiah Kingsley. Go on, Jeff.
I was going to say, at that time, COVID had well and truly taken over. I did mention to Todd that I eventually got to sleep and slept 11 and a half hours and woke up. And my sheets were soaked. I was just really thick. So if anyone had tuned in to that final couple of hours, I was really getting quite feverish. So apologies to the gentleman with me and the audience who tuned in. And thanks for coming along for that ride.
That's on top of the 10-hour maddening live stream. Hey, D. James Fortescue has asked, was it an interview for the EPW Super Show Booking Committee? Yeah, that was our application in live stream form. But also on there,
we didn't get booked, Terry.
Jeremiah Kingsley has said, ready to hear the boys review EPW Vendetta. Yes, absolutely. EPW's biggest show of the year is coming up. It is EPW Reawakening 22, coming up very soon. So we thought we would watch the show beforehand, EPW Vendetta, and see what the stories are going into this huge event. You boys happy to kick it off?
Sorry. Before we get into it, mate, I want to ask you, what did you think of Wide Bay on the weekend?
Okay. I
didn't really get a chance to talk to you because everything was very, manic that night.
Yeah, so we were at a new venue, and Wide Bay Pro Wrestling, we were at the Maryborough City Hall, which was a really cool venue to be in. And I actually I think the person in the match, when I was talking to them on Messenger, jokingly said I should mention it on the show. But I've got to shout out, Renegade had the match of his goddamn life against, I was going to say Robbie Eagles, but not that one, the other one, Adam Brooks. Adam Brooks and Renegade put on, I'm pretty sure, the best match I've ever seen live.
Wow. Did he message you to put himself over? Just quietly, that match was really good.
No, I messaged him
because it's not out of character.
No, it wouldn't be. But I messaged Renegade to tell him that I thought it was the best match I'd ever seen and to congratulate him on the performance. And we've got Giant Coyote in the chat who was sitting next to me on that show, both of us over at the ring announcers table. Giant Coyote said he was jumping out of his chair during the match, which is, impressive considering the dude's got one leg and we had him literally jumping with some of the spots in it.
Really? Out of it.
Yeah, I can't get over it. That whole show was great. I was really having an absolute blast watching the most recent Wide Bay show. But yeah, I cannot rave about that Renegade and Adam Brooks match highly enough. So when that does come to the old YouTubes, we'll make sure absolutely everyone knows about it. Yeah, T8UST in the chat said Big Boy kept up with Brooksy's pace and then some. I was saying I've seen Brooksy work hard, and I've seen a lot of Brooksy matches, but the fact that Renegade pushed Brooksy to be the best he could be was absolutely incredible. That I cannot rave about the match enough. I'm going to be saying to everyone who'll listen that it was the match of the year, maybe in Australia. I think it was truly, truly that good. Like really, really incredibly good. The selling was consistent despite the top speed of the match the entire time. They flew at one point. Renegade flew out of the ring so hard that the barricade came off its feet. Like I had to run over and fix the barricade because it had been pulled off its feet by a dive. It was absolutely incredible. Yeah, great to hear that he's going down to Suplex, says Tim Wilkes. He's in such good form, it'll make the streaming title match on December 9th very exciting. A lovely birthday present for me there, seeing Renegade in the streaming title match at Suplex. Yeah, Giant Coyote saying the storytelling and psychology was masterclass. I don't want to rave about this match too long, considering people can't see it online just yet. But for a match to be that physical and fast and hard-hitting while also being chock-a-block with psychology and storytelling, could not ask for anything more. As soon as it goes online, Jeff, I'll message you the time code so you can see it. I don't know how much of it you saw, Todd, because you would have been running around backstage recovering from your Rumble appearance.
Yes.
Your Battle Royale appearance. But yeah, I had an absolute blast at the show, and that match in particular.
I came 5th, so I was just out of the medals.
That's exactly right.
There was only 8 people in it, but I came 5th.
And it has nothing to do with you standing in the middle of the ring, literally touching no one for the vast majority of the match. Good stuff. Look,
work smarter, not harder, brother.
We can talk about Wide Bay for a long time, but go, Jack.
Can I just say, you are one man who is in shape, and in my opinion, got robbed. You should have gone all the way. I haven't seen it. I've got no idea what happened. But
no, that's true. No, you should have gone spot on there, brother.
Next year, that Rumble is yours, my friend.
Yeah, I'm gonna like. I really think the booking was half-assed there. I'm gonna have a good talk to the booker on it.
Whoever booked that really needs to have a talking to from Todd.
Needs to fucking give himself an uppercut.
Yeah,
seriously.
All righty,
and me as well.
Jeremiah Kingsley saw a giant Chopsky in that Craven match at the Giant Coyote. Yeah, that was something impressive. Todd would have heard that one from backstage. Anyway, we watched EPW Vendetta, and I was really impressed with this show. Normally, when you get the show before a big one, it's a lot of little stuff setting up feuds to go into the big stuff that's coming. This was a really impressive show, considering that all of the things that they did at Vendetta built into a really impressive Reawakening card without this show being light on action. I was really impressed with that.
Yeah, I said to Jeff off air before we started, like, it was a really good, like, Raw going into a pay-per-view, like Raw going into a Mania. Like, you know what I mean? The go home show was a really, really good go home show.
Absolutely.
On the strength of this, I would buy that Mania. You know, on the strength of this, if we were back in the pay-per-view days, there is no doubt I would slam down my $30 or $40 and go, shut up and take my money. I'm watching this, because it was really good.
Yeah, absolutely. So with that said, before we start talking about the stuff in particular, if you are in Perth and you can, on Saturday, the 16th of December, and you can get to Willetton Basketball Stadium, head on over to epwperth.com right now and grab your tickets, because I would not want to be waiting too long to pick those up, considering just how good this product is. There's a good chance it sells out. And like we talked with Davis Storm on the live stream, he's getting in the ring, going up against Peter Corelli, who's a big name in the Perth scene, in a tag team match. And with some of the stuff we'll talk about tonight, it's going to be a clanger of an event. So make sure you get those tickets straight away at epwperth.com. So I'm going to run through the results, and then we can break it down match by match.
It's also, sorry, I keep interrupting you, Lachlan, but it's also worth noting that Davis himself has admitted this may well be his final match. He made no secret of it. If he gets in that ring and he's not feeling it, this will be the last match of his career. I wouldn't want to miss that.
D. James Fortescue says, cracking the 1,000 for Reawakening 22. So there you go. Get in quick if you want those tickets. But let's go with results from Vendetta. First off, there was a three-way match for the SHWA title to be the final SHWA champion, with Jared Slate defeating Michael Morleone and Felix Young to become the new and final SHWA heavyweight champion. Then in the first semi-final...
Sorry, mate. I'm sorry. Maybe we just go through this like match by match.
Let's go
there's stuff that we'll have to sort of break down sort of some stuff for it, because otherwise we're going to go through and we're going to miss things. I've noticed we do that sometimes. We go through the whole card, and then afterwards, like, shit, we missed talking to this, we missed talking to that. So if we just do it like that, it might be a bit easier for us.
Absolutely. So let's talk about this SHWA triple threat title match. Michael Morleone with Chris J. Lazarus coming in as champion, coming up against two SHWA natives in Jared Slate and Felix Young, also a tag team in the form of the Pulse, which led to, I thought, some really cool stuff where Slate and Young were doing Pulse tag team moves to kind of take Morleone out of contention and keep it between the SHWA guys for that title. And then an interesting little storytelling beat in the middle of the match where Morleone just left, grabbed his EPW title and went out back, let Slate and Felix Young duke it out for a bit, made it look like he was giving up on retaining this title, and then came back to clobber, I believe it was Felix Young, with the belt, giving himself some rest time and coming back in a stronger position. I thought that it was a really cleverly put together match in that way.
Yeah, 100% agree. I love that little touch of, like, just walked off like this title doesn't mean anything. The EPW title is the one that means something to me. But really, it was just a ploy for him to let them wear each other down. He'll come in and hit somebody with a belt just at the right time. It was a really, really good, like, I want to say a really good opening match, but it could have been a match that could have easily headlined the show if it wasn't for, like, what they had for the main event. I also like the touch at the end with the boys from Drawing Heat, Beej and the Dude were in the front row, who are the commentators for Schwa. That's the only thing I would have liked. I would have liked for those two to maybe have commentated that match, being it was the last Schwa, the whole thing. I would have liked that to have happened. It didn't, but it was still cool. It was still good. Really, really good match though.
Yeah, Jeff?
I agree completely. I think this was a lot of fun. It moved at a cracking pace. They were three bigger guys, and there was no like huge rest hold. There was no like moments because there was the room to have Jared and Felix like slide into a rest hold and slow it down. No. They kept going. They kept moving because they knew they had the crowd, and it was how they kept them. And they kept them really, really well. And I thoroughly enjoyed this match. I think Lazarus is something special and probably the best manager in Australia. But
Second.
With the exception of this one bloke in Queensland. But I really, really like this. In all seriousness, I did like this. I think everyone played their role perfectly. Morleone just gets great heat, and it's incredible because he is a fantastic face. So he can just do it all. Morleone, I think, is one of the best kept secrets in Australia. I really do. He rarely leaves Perth. I think the guy's got a young family, so he rarely leaves Perth. But geez, I wish he'd come over here and do some stuff because. Again,
he's phenomenal.
I really want to say. Yeah.
There are a lot of those guys around the country that, like, you'll see them in their home feds and they're amazing, but they just don't travel. They don't really want to travel. They're quite happy to stay home. And you're just like, I'd love to see this. This is like Chris Basso and Matt. Matt very rarely travels as well. But you're just I'd love to see him in another place. World Series.
Doing a lot with Adrian. Yeah.
Yeah, with World Series. But that's about the only time you don't see him really pop up until he did the Coliseum tournament. But you don't see him pop up a lot like an MCW or you know what I mean, or even an EPW or stuff like that. You just don't see it. There are guys like that around the country, like feds.
That's definitely more true of those guys that aren't on the East Coast, right? Especially between Melbourne and Sydney, and to a lesser extent Perth and Brisbane, but there's kind of a little bit of a chain going on there where you can get around those cities. Then, Adelaide, I meant, not Perth. But then you go out to Adelaide and you go out to Perth. I'm just mixing them up now. You go out to Perth. That's a long, expensive flight you've got to get if you want to show up in another promotion, Like, there was only a Darwin promotion for a little while, and it was very heavily represented with Perth guys because it was kind of the closest city that you can fly those Perth guys out to. So that's where they got to, right? So guys like Morleone, especially when you say, okay, young family, and then add in how difficult it's going to be to get a flight out to another promotion because you can't make a day trip of it. This is something we were talking about with David Storm on our live stream. It does lead to guys like that. If you're not watching EPW or Schwa, you're not going to see them. And Morleone is such a solid main eventer. I have seen him have so many great main events, and yet people who don't watch EPW don't know him.
And it's not a flash in the pan either. He's not someone who's had one great year. The guy's been going for, I don't know, about 9 years, it seems. 10 years the guy's been around and having matches of this standard pretty much since Dot. And you watch that match next month, it is going to be incredible. His match next month is going to be phenomenal. Help me here.
Reawakening.
Yeah, at Reawakening. Yeah. Sorry, everyone.
Morleone's debut for EPW was in 2005.
Wow. That is 18 years. 18 years.
They've got a lot of guys. They've got a lot of guys that are like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Alex Firehart in the chat saying a memory fell loose where I'm realizing Michael Morleone was meant to wrestle for PWAQ one time in its first year or so, but something came up so he didn't make it, and Chris Weiss either came instead or was just the only EPW guy there as a result. Yeah, and you can see that's the kind of thing where when it's such a big commitment, if something happens, it's like, well, now I can't make that big trip over. But I think kind of what we're agreeing on is Morleone's a star, and it's an absolute shame that more people outside of Perth aren't getting a chance to see him, which makes me really hopeful for things like the EPW Australian Super Show, which is going to be on the 23rd of February on that Friday night there, also at Willetton Basketball Stadium, also with tickets available now at epwperth.com. They have announced Slex appearing on that show at this point, so hopefully people like Morleone get to have a really good showing there and get to be in front of a lot more eyes. Moving on, speaking of showing people in front of more eyes, the EPW Invitational Tournament 2023 had 2 semi-final Fatal 4-Way matches on this show. These matches working in a very interesting way. They're a Fatal 4-Way match, but when a pinfall or submission occurs, the person scoring that pinfall or submission leaves the match, progressing to the next round, and the person who was on the receiving end of that pinfall or submission is eliminated. So it starts as a Fatal 4-Way, and then once a decision occurs, it becomes a singles match, functionally, with 2 winners coming out of the match. So it's a really interesting way to get a field of 8 down to a field of 4 with only 2 matches. So the first of these matches had Alex Kingston, Solomon Blackwell, Cannon Connors, and Taylor King. The first decision came with Solomon Blackwell pinning Cannon Connors. Sorry, we should go back and mention, because this is exactly what you said about things falling off when we run through the card. Michael Morleone looked poised to win the Schwa title before right at the end, Taylor King came out, took the belt off him, the title belt that he was about to use to cheat, and effectively cost him the chance to steal the victory and allowed Jared Slate to win that. And there was a bit of revenge coming on behalf of Michael Morleone in this match. So the first decision was Solomon Blackwell pinning Cannon Connors, and the second decision came with Alex Kingston beating Taylor King by disqualification. Michael Morleone appearing, hitting Alex Kingston with the title belt, which seemed confusing at the time because you thought he hates Taylor King. Why is he smashing Alex Kingston? But then Alex Kingston wins by disqualification, knocking Taylor King out of the invitational tournament. Really clever way to put that together.
See, I thought that too, but now I'm thinking about it, and it was kind of dumb. Because if Taylor King went through to the finals, he would be wrestling at Reawakening, and he wouldn't be wrestling Michael Morleone. He would have been effectively taken out of that match.
I guess from Morleone's perspective, he's just beaten King in a cage match, right? So he's got a claim to this title. He goes, well, King's not a number 1 contender. I've just beaten him. And on top of that, King took away Morleone's chance at the Schwa title. So he's taking away the chance at the invitational title. Jeff, did you have a comment there?
I'd also like to say, Todd, you're doing this kind of with hindsight. In that moment with passion, Morleone's going, I've got this belt. I'm going to fuck him up. I'm going to make sure he doesn't get any further. Simple as that.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, you're doing it knowing that the match is added later. Sorry, spoiler, everybody. Instead of going, okay, well, he did it with passion.
But it's also a good point that, like, from a booking perspective, it's a great way to have Taylor King show off how good he is in the invitational tournament, and then take him out of the invitational tournament in a way that puts more heat on the Morleone King match that's headlining Reawakening now.
Yeah, and you're not taking a loss either, really.
No,
because he's not.
No.
The one thing I will say, and it's almost a constructive criticism sort of thing, is that Solomon Blackwell is so very good and so very smooth that I think sometimes he's a little too quick. Like, he did that chain at the start where he did the spinny thing, and I think sometimes he's so quick at doing it and so smooth at doing it that the fans don't actually realize what he's doing until after he's done it.
Yeah.
Or they're missing certain things because he's so friggin' quick and good at it until he's hit the drop kick. You're like, what just happened? Do you know what I mean? That was my only criticism. And that's me really picking at straws for it.
And I mean, that's the thing, is Solomon is so good that you're almost saying Solomon needs to be a little bit worse so that everyone can realize how good he is.
No, not that he's worse. He just needs to like slow down a beat so the fans can actually see how good he is.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Not, everything he's doing is
worse,
incredible.
But just not be worse, but just be just that little bit slower so like people can take into account what he's just done.
I really I like the story this match told, because matches like this, and it happened again in the later one, can so easily become two individuals wrestling two separate, 4 individuals wrestling two separate matches. But this wasn't the case here. There was some nice interaction between all 4. Same with the match later, because they do another one later. And I just felt that Solomon, for everything you're saying, he worked for that pin. He showed he was working for that pin. Cannon was not an easy beat. The Kingston Taylor sequences once the other guys were in the locker room, just fantastic, just great. 2 really, really good wrestlers. I think Kingston's going to be huge, going to be a real star in the future. And Taylor King, his match at Rio Awakening, wow. This whole the Molione Championship has been fascinating, and I think that the end game is going to be just as fascinating and just phenomenal.
I do just want to ask Jeff, sorry, Todd, knowing that Todd and I have been raving about Blackwell for over a year now, since he's been up here in Queensland, this would have been your first time seeing him wrestle, right?
Sadly, because I had COVID, yes.
Yeah, what did you think?
Yeah, really good. Like a unique entrance from a video perspective. I like the entrance.
Yeah, his entrance looks like a Drake music video.
Yeah. And he's got the it factor that's so important. Oh, yeah. And I think he's fun to watch. I think he's got that thing where he's fun to watch. I mean, obviously, you saw him as a heel and a face. In this role, he's pretty much a face. I think that's what I've kind of picked up from that. But really good, really entertaining.
I think they're just letting him be him and letting the crowd decide what they want him to be, and then they'll move in that direction.
Yeah.
But I think
really, you can see why after a relatively short time in Perth, he's already, because it's only been about 5 months, but he's already on the main card. And it's not going to take him long to move up that card. Whether it's the coastal title or the heavyweight title, the guy, he's got it. And I think
he's in the tournament final. He's in the tournament final in the biggest show of the year. So
yeah,
exactly.
And he's got that aspect where you can see he can do a lot. Like he can do submission, he can do high flying, he can do technical. Just great. Just got it all.
Absolutely. And obviously, Taylor King's phenomenal, but it doesn't take away from Alex Kingston, who, like you were saying, was a really impressive opponent there at the end. That one-on-one section was really good. And Cannon Connors really put on a good showing as well. Like you said, he wasn't an easy beat for Solomon. He took a lot of hits to go down, and he put out some really impressive punishment as well. We did, again, miss something, as D. James Fortescue points out. The Locker Room Leadership Program showed up before this match, or more precisely, Dos Itzwa showed up before this match, and they wanted to call out the Locker Room Leadership Program after their leader, Twitch, was hit by a car, and Locker Room Leadership Program came out, had a bit of a verbal back and forth before a fight was called for. Locker Room Leadership Program, the 3 of them against 4 of Dos Itzwa said, well, this isn't fair, 4 versus 3. It's not fair that we've got 4 and you've got 3. And then Jay Taylor turned on Dos Itzwa to join the Locker Room Leadership Program. D. James Fortescue says, Mr. Thompson is a revelation. Mr. Thompson on the mic is fantastic. He had that angry teacher energy that just drew everyone in, really got the point of the promo across. I think they are a great heel stable, and excited to see what happens with that as this story progresses.
I like that
EPW have such a strong, they've got such a strong mid card.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I like that Mr. Thompson could so easily be a parody, but he's not. You take him seriously because he backs it up. Really good.
Yeah, really impressive stuff there. Moving on to the next match of the card, my least favorite match type, a last man standing match, had Zenith coming out over Del Carno to resolve a very long-term feud where they were the Zen Carno Experience as a tag team who were tag team champions. And then this has led to Del Carno actually turning on Zenith, probably not the way everyone saw that going. Del Carno as the Caucasian luchador seems like the obvious face out of this, but has done a really good job turning heel. Zenith good. Also so absolutely over with the crowd as a face, and the way this last man standing match played out, I'm not a huge fan of kind of the outside presence that was in this match. Blake Walker, as a large physical presence, really made himself known on the side of Del Carno, and Zenith had the and I can't remember what the stable's called now, but his stable kind of came out one at a time. It's the House of Free something. They came out kind of one at a time over the course of the match to try and even the odds, and didn't quite manage it till the end. I didn't love the stuff with the people outside of the match, and last man standing matches I'm not a fan of in the first place, but I thought everything that happened between Del Carno and Zenith was actually really, really good. I really enjoyed the way the use of weapons progressed. House of Free Spirits, thank you, D. James Fortescue. I thought the ending was insane, where clearly Zenith had planned to do a Zwanton bomb, or a Zenton bomb, I believe it is, from a ladder through a table. But when the table collapsed, he kind of went, all right, bugger it, leave the table on the floor. I'll do exactly the same thing and still do it. That was insane. I loved the brick in the cushion that was a weapon. I thought that the kendo stick really exploded in shards, which was a really nice visual touch. Overall, like I said, I don't like last man standing matches, and those two made it work for me. I just wish... Oh, and Jeremiah Kingsley's right. The Shakti mat attached to a chair was crazy. Wow. What a great weapon.
Wow.
So yeah, for a match type that I don't like and some outside interference that I didn't like, the match between Zenith and Del Carno I thought was really good.
You know what I did like? I like the fact that the table collapsed, and a lot of other people would have rolled Carno off and tried to fix the table back up, and then wasted 5 minutes trying to do that, and then put him back on the table and then climb the ladder again. Whereas they didn't waste time. He actually thought that, sort of in the mindset of if this was a real fight, I wouldn't fuck around and waste time. I'd just climb back up and hit him anyway, which I think was really, really good, because that's something that takes me out of matches when I see it. It's they're just going to set the spot up. But this was just I was just very, very good when I saw him doing it.
I disagree with you, Lachlan, for one thing, and that is Blake Walker's role is to be a heater. Every time he did anything, he literally got oodles of heat, not on himself, but on Del Carno. And for that reason, I think he was great. I agree with you. I think they did a few too many spots with him. I reckon they could have done one or two, and it would have been a little bit more impactful. But I think generally, I have absolutely zero real complaints about this match. I think Del Carno is an amazing heel, really, really good. And what I'm noticing with EPW is it's the guys that are faces, and you think they're a career face, but when they go heel, they fucking hit it out of the park over there. And I mean, it was fantastic. I really, really enjoyed this. And the shame of it was this was a match that you can imagine being in Reawakening, and the card is probably that stacked. This is the one that unfortunately drew the short straw that had to be put here on Vendetta, but just terrific.
Yeah.
And a really good match before a break.
I guess the thing that I didn't like about it so much was that I feel like it made the House of Free Spirits look a bit dumb, in that Blake Walker came out with Del Cano, and then a few minutes into the match, one of them came out to try and even it, and that didn't work because they got smacked around by Blake Walker. And so a few minutes later, another one came out and got smacked around by Blake Walker. Then a few minutes later, another one came out and got smacked around like Blake Walker. If you know Blake Walker's going to be there and you want to even the odds, come out when the match starts.
Yeah, that's not a bad call at all.
Or if you want to let Zenith prove that he can overcome the odds, don't come out at all. Like, why 9 minutes in does the Great George decide, oh, now's my opportunity to even the odds?
Well, what would it be? Is like it would be the thinking behind it is until he does something to sway the match, there's no reason for us to come out, and he wants to prove that he can do it on his own. Zenith is what I'm saying. Otherwise, you would just bring all three out, not like a movie where like the bad guys all fight the good guy one-on-one, but there's 6 of them. Do you know what I mean? Like you would think you would all come out together, all 3 of you attack him at the same time. I get what you're saying, but I think it's one of those things where it's like let's say like a movie thing where the bad guys attack one-on-one.
I understand the point of it. It's just something that I personally find frustrating in wrestling matches.
I'm with you completely, and it's something that I didn't even think about until you brought it up. I'm like, what you were talking about, I'm like, yeah, it's a good point. It wasn't until all 3 of them came out and finally attacked him that they got on top.
I'm still in that mode where, while I respectfully agree with you quite a bit, I think Walker was there to achieve exactly what I said. And
he was.
And as Jeremiah said, I feel a promo prior to the match backstage that Zenith telling the boys he's got it, and he needs to do it alone. That would have sufficed. Quite right, Jeremiah.
Dang honourable faces, says D. James Fortescue. Absolutely right. And look, I've said before that I find Last Man Standing to be a bad match type. But
boy, have we got one coming in the second half. All right.
But yeah, I think that it was done really quite well, all things considered. So the fact that they managed to have me enjoy it, even with all of those things that I don't see, shows just how good these guys were in the ring. After this, we had the second part of the semi-finals for the EPW Invitational Tournament for 2023. This one featured Aaron Hawke, Robbie Hart, Tyler Jacobs, and James Hartness. This one had James Hartness pinning Tyler Jacobs to advance, and then as he was leaving the ring, kind of kept the referee's attention on him so that Robbie Hart could deliver a mist to the face of Aaron Hawke. And Robbie Hart also moving on to the finals, leaving us with the 4 finalists of the EPW Invitational Tournament for 2023. Solomon Blackwell, Alex Kingston, James Hartness, and Robbie Hart. I was very impressed with this 4-way.
Yeah, I liked it because it was like, the other one was sort of like the techie guys, the first half of the thing. The second half was sort of like brawling, like sort of meaty dudes.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. I don't know if you call Robbie Hart a meaty dude, but still, he's not small. He's not a little dude. But like it was more hard hitting than what the first one was. The first one was very techie and very like really freaking good. And then the second one was just like, all right, let's get some brawlers out here.
I really liked Hartness holding on to the referee while Robbie Hart did his mist. I thought that was so clever because I was like, I mean, James is great. And I was watching it going, why is James out there? What the fuck's he still out there for? It completely sucked me in. He was actually trying to help Robbie Hart. Look, I had so much fun with this. I think it's great. And it wasn't, and Tim has just said what I was about to say, which is they didn't just duplicate the first one again. No, they had 2 completely different matches. Completely different. And it was wonderful.
Yeah, really good fun stuff. And the way they just all went flying. And I really enjoy in a match like this where it doesn't feel like 2 guys are going at each other and then swap out one of them and then swap out the other one. And it also doesn't feel like, oh, well, these 2 are over here fighting and then these 2 are over here fighting. And that's going to play out for a while. These guys were constantly all in each other's faces. Like, it was like, I can take all of these guys down the whole time. And I thought that was really, really well done. And the fact that I believe it was James Hartness broke up a pin that Robbie Hart was doing. And Robbie was like, well, what's that for? James Hartness was like, oh, I don't want to lose the 3 opponents I have to beat and just be down to 1. Like, that's smart wrestling, right? But also, Robbie Hart's correct in that you could let me have this pin. It doesn't affect you. I thought it was really interesting the way that played out.
And again, Jacobs and Hawk looked great in losing. They didn't exactly lose anything by this. I mean, Hawk got beaten by nefarious missed means, and Tyler Jacobs was just great. He
and Tyler Jacobs has the history to make sure that, you know, when he loses, it means something.
I thought it was great. Really, really enjoyed both of them. And what a unique and wonderful concept. Well done, EPW. Really.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, really impressed with this one. After this, the EPW Coastal Championship was on the line. And the Gonzo pile driver was dirty good, said Jeremiah King.
Yeah, so good.
The EPW Coastal Championship was on the line in a 5-minute challenge. Chris Target giving 5 minutes for Bruno Nitro to beat him. This comes after Bruno Nitro, the previous Coastal champion, who had been a bit of a fighting champion, had a 5-minute challenge for Chris Target. Chris Target didn't manage to get the win and asked for 5 more minutes, and Bruno Nitro said yes, and then lost the title to Target. This time, Bruno Nitro almost won, you know, starting his 3 count for the pin at 4 minutes and 58 seconds. So that last 1 on the pinfall couldn't be counted in the time. Match goes to a time limit draw. Bruno Nitro asked for another 5 minutes, and Target said, nah, why would I? A great little piece of character work here that shows Bruno Nitro being an honorable fighting babyface who could get the job done but was screwed over by the time limit. Chris Target as an absolute jerk who won't afford Bruno Nitro the chance that Bruno gave him, clearly because he knows he's going to lose. What's there not to like? And also, Bruno Nitro is absolutely fantastic. Chris Target is really solid. This was just good stuff.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Chris Target. The psychology in that match, everything, like the fact that he walked out with his boots undone.
Yeah.
So that when the timer started, he could go, hang on, I've got to do my boots up. Let's run the clock.
So good.
That's just so much little, like, just the smart thinking. I love that shit. I like his gimmick. I like his, like, very, very good. This match in particular for him, because I'd seen him work before, but I think it was mostly in multi-mans when we've done like reviews of the shows. But this was the first time I really focused in on watching him work, and I'm really big fan of him. And Bruno Nitro is the like quintessential like white meat baby face, but in a good way. Like you get behind him, you want him to win, you want him to get that pin, and just smart the way they did it on the 58. So the 3rd count went after the bell, and I big for a 5-minute match. I was a big fan of this.
It's EPW the week after our 20th anniversary show. I bet we'll be saying how surprising it is that Bruno Nitro is a great heel. Look, I thought this was terrific because it was 5 minutes, but what they packed into the 5 minutes, you don't see in some matches in 12 to 15. They packed so much in that match that was great character work. It was highly watchable. And I honestly loved this. I loved everything about it. As you mentioned, coming out with those boots undone and just being a shit heel. Like, you know, you can say so-and-so's a great heel, but no. Chris Target was a shit heel. He was such a shit heel. Like, I just looked at him and I was like, you know, in the throes of the COVID shit and just go, I really want him beat. Like the second he walked out, I wanted him beaten so badly. And he was great. I was laughing by the end because I'd really gotten sucked in that much.
Fantastic. Yeah, you're just like, you're such a dick.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, come on, Nitro. Shut him up. You know, that whole thing. Oh, wonderful. Perfect. Really. Really, what a great show. I mean, I'm revisiting it now in my mind, just going, I was so happy watching it.
A real top to bottom, it was great. And the promos were great as well. We'll talk about another promo section that happened with Devlin Reeves coming out as the general manager to announce that the main event of Reawake, that he wasn't going to overturn the elimination of Taylor King from the Invitational Tournament, and that was because he was setting up Taylor King versus Michael Morleone in the main event of Reawakening 22. Of course, Morleone wasn't very impressed with this and came out, but that was a ruse so that Chris J. Lazarus could appear from behind and give him the old nut shot. Lazarus and Morleone were chased from the ring by Pete Corelli, famed radio host from Perth, who was previously on the last EPW show we reviewed and had a really impressive showing there. But then all of a sudden, Pete Corelli turned and he hit Devlin Reeves with a chair, aligning himself with Lazarus and having a rant to the crowd about how they didn't appreciate all he'd done for them, when all of a sudden the music of friend of the show, Davis Storm, hit. That good old Goliath by Carnival that everyone pops for, and he came out with the neck brace on to tell Pete to stop complaining about what wrestling owes you. And at that point, there was the challenge made between the few of them for a tag team match. So it's going to be Devlin Reeves and Davis Storm versus Chris J. Lazarus and Peter Corelli at EPW Reawakening. We were talking to Davis, and he mentioned that we mentioned that Pete Corelli's actually got more in-ring experience this year than Davis and Devlin combined after Pete Corelli's one match. Of course, Davis having that neck injury, coming out in the neck brace at the start of the promo, and then at the opportune moment, taking it off, saying that he was ready to go. I was so impressed with Pete Corelli's mic skills. Obviously, the dude is like a radio guy, so speaking to crowds is his shtick. But that's not always going to translate to cutting a heel promo. And he cut that heel promo with such aplomb. It was pitch perfect every second of it. And at the end of it, you definitely wanted to see Devlin and Davis beat the shit out of those two. I thought that it was such an effective heel turn for someone who's not a pro wrestler. I was really, really impressed.
I think this was, and Davis, what you haven't mentioned yet is Davis's promo. Davis's promo was fucking electrifying. Electrifying. You know, I once listened to a Roddy Piper shoot interview where Roddy Piper said what wrestling is really about is putting an ass every 18 inches. So putting a bum in seat every 18 inches. This promo, if it doesn't put a butt in a seat every 18 inches at Reawakening, nothing will. Like, this is just electrifying. This was wrestling to me. Fantastic. Loved it.
Tim Wilkes says it's how every crowd feels about Eastman.
It's my job.
I'm not sure what that's a reference to, Tim. which
it's about people hating me.
Yeah.
It's everyone hates me joke, which is fine. Yeah. I'm used to that.
Eastman's good at making people hate him the way Corelli was on this show. Yeah, what an impressive little segment. Have you got anything to add, Todd?
No, like you guys like summed it up perfectly. It was really good promo by Pete Corelli, radio host. Like, so it's very interesting. I always find it interesting when you've got someone who on radio is basically the babyface because he's he's the host of the show, so he will be the babyface. So
on radio, if someone doesn't like you, they're not going to listen to your show. So his job is to try and have everyone like him. Yeah,
and then to do that, like in Adelaide back in the day, this is years ago. There was a sports reporter on Channel 10 called Mark Aston, and for the longest time at Wrestle Rampage or 01 or whatever they were going to be called at that day, I don't know. They changed their name a lot back in the day. He was like the lead heel in that company for a fair while. And it was really funny to see him on the show because there'd be like 150, 200 people at these shows. But then you look around and all these other people sort of like the guy, and we're like, wow, you don't know what he does on the weekends, do you? You don't know how easily he gets a crowd angry at him. It's the same sort of thing, I think, with Pete Corelli. And the best part about his promo is that there were certain bits that if you looked at it from a 500-foot view, you can go, I kind of understand where he's coming from here.
Yeah.
Because really, he's put a lot more eyes on the product. He did like everything he said he did. Technically, he's kind of done.
Yep.
So the only thing that he's doing that's wrong is just being an asshole about it. Going, you guys should you should appreciate me more than what you already are. So technically, that's the only thing he's done wrong when he's saying the thing he's saying technically is true. Like he did all these things. He just wants more praise for them.
It's great when a heel is technically correct so you can understand why they're saying what they're saying. But they're also just such a douche that you hate them for saying it.
Mm.
If a heel is justified, you hate them more. Because you go, he or she is fucking right. I wish they weren't, and I want to see them beaten up because of it. And, we've seen that.
He's right. He's right, but he doesn't have to be such a dick about it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's great.
And look, speaking of people who are so good at what they do, the main event here was for the EPW Tag Team Championship. Champions, the Untouchables, Damian Slater and Marcus Pitt, came up against the Hit Squad, Lucas Fantasia and Mikey Broderick. This one started with Slater and Pitt being accompanied by both Amber and Jesse Lambert, before Slater dismissed Jesse Lambert, sending him backstage, leading to a cracking match back and forth. Towards the end, referee gets knocked out. Slater makes a cover. Lambert rushes out to the ring, putting on a referee shirt. 1, 2, can't drop the hand for the 3, holds it just above the ring, not counting the 3 for Damian Slater. And it leads to an absolute shit fight in the ring with Slater and Pitt trying to take out Lambert, and then Dan Moore, Lambert's former partner from 2.5 Wrestlers, comes out to even the odds. Eventually, we get the anabolic elbow from Mikey Broderick, and a referee comes out to count the 3, the Hit Squad becoming the new EPW Tag Team Champions. After this, we get a promo from Amber saying that she's sick of this. She wants to take down 2.5 Wrestlers. So the deal is it's a 6-person tag match at Reawakening 22. And if 2.5 Wrestlers lose, Jesse Lambert obviously sticks around. But Dan Moore and I'm forgetting the other wrestler in that tag team's name, if someone can remind me. They will be fired from EPW if they lose.
Bobby Marshall.
Yeah. Thank you. Bobby Marshall and Dan Moore will leave EPW if they lose. And who's going to be the third person for the Untouchables? Well, it's Amber, and she'll leave EPW if the Untouchables lose. So that's a 6-person tag match set for Reawakening. What a brilliant, high-paced tag team title match, ending with a really top-notch angle going into Reawakening. Jeff?
Lachlan, it needs to be said that after Amber finished on the mic, Jesse Lambert broke up with her.
That is correct.
I'm available to console Amber if she needs. Just letting her know that.
Hasn't she been through enough?
No. I can console her if she needs. Look, this was great, and what a fantastic character! It's been building for a year. This moment was building for a year, and the crowd just loved it. You could see it was coming. The crowd obviously knew it was coming, but boy, were they along for the ride. And that was the thing about the whole show. Look, the Untouchables are so good at what they do. They are so good. And they do travel. Like I got to see them against the Pareja late last year, and it was fantastic. Earlier this year, actually, and it was absolutely fantastic. Look, I love this match. I thought this was great, and what a fantastic, amazing way. just the best way to send the fans home happy and anticipating reawakening. Oh yeah, absolutely wonderful.
When you get Marcus Pitt and Mikey Broderick in a ring together, I don't know if there's two more significant body guys in Australia. Like, they both look like they are straight out of an action figure collection. Like, it is ridiculous what those two guys look like. And the power and finesse that they've got behind it is unreal. Then you add in Lucas Fantasia, who, as like Jeremiah Kingsley mentioned, an absolute machine, massive coming-of-age moment throughout the whole match. D. James Fortescue said Lucas took the beating of a lifetime. His ability to get beaten and beaten and beaten, looking for that tag to Broderick and just not able to make it, was some of the most compelling face work I've seen in a long time. And look, it feels strange to praise Damian Slater because obviously, right? Like, yeah, he's Damian Slater. What are you talking about? But in this match, I just couldn't get over his timing. I don't know if anyone in Australian wrestling has better timing than Damian Slater. He is always exactly where he needs to be. There was a moment in this match where I believe it was Lucas Fantasia was running into the corner and Marcus Pitt leapt over him. And then all of a sudden, Damian Slater's boot just hits him in the head out of nowhere. The timing on that was absolutely incredible. Or Pitt went for a spear into the corner and Slater was between Moore and Pitt and just jumps over him with a millisecond's notice. It was incredible timing. Everyone involved in this match needs to be commended.
I think it's worth saying that Damian Slater is an amazing, a great person. Like what he does with trainees, what he does like for outside of wrestling, he's a great guy. He's got a really young family, lovely human being. Damian Slater, the wrestler, fuck, I hate him. Fuck, he's a wanker. He's just that thing. He's got that. I was so surprised.
He's so good and he fucking knows it.
When I saw him in the Cruiserweight Classic many years ago, this goes back about 8 years now, I was shocked that he was never picked up as a full-time worker because he is that good. He is that damn good. Just hit it out of the park. This whole match just had me glued to the screen. And I literally cheered when Lucas Fantasia finally made the tag. I actually cheered, which I really, we watched a lot of wrestling.
Thoughts on this match?
I was actually going to say, like, you listen to how over Jesse Lambert is with that EPW crowd, and I'm be very interesting to see because this weekend he's at Wrestle Rampage. I'm going to be very interested to see how that translates to a whole new crowd that don't really know him because he does have that likability straight away when he comes out. He just has that sort of like I think I said to my missus, he looks like Dominic Mysterio if people actually like Dominic.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's the boy. Everyone loves the boy.
Yeah, he looks like he looks like the fan that's happy to be there, but he can actually wrestle as well. So he's got that because he looks so young, he's got that thing where it's just like it's just like I just want the kid to succeed, which makes him a great babyface because when someone's getting heat on him, they're like, get off that. The poor fucking, let the kid up, will you?
Yeah.
Like, and he sells that too. So it's really good. I'll be really interested to see how he does at Wrestle Rampage this weekend.
Absolutely.
I'll be interested to see the match Reawakening only because, the heat sequence on Lucas was really long. How long is the one going to be on Jesse? They're going to have him in that corner for a long time. And you can bet that Slater is going to stretch the shit out. Like, they're just going to stretch the shit out of him. I hope he's well limbered before the match because This will just be great. I look, again, I'm not in Perth that weekend, but boy, howdy do I wish I was going back to Perth for Crimbo so I could watch this show. Just great.
Absolutely. So that's for Saturday, the 16th of December at Willetton Basketball Stadium in Perth. If you want to get along to that one, you'd better get your tickets now. You can get those at epwperth.com. Speaking of .com, did you guys know that WrestleRadioAustralia.com is now the hub for every link you need for Wrestle Radio Australia? That's right, WrestleRadioAustralia.com. You can hit the links there for all of our social media, the Redbubble to buy the shirts from, the donation link for the Wrestle Radio 10th anniversary live stream, where to buy the 10th anniversary shirts. It's all right there at WrestleRadioAustralia.com. Did you want to add something there, Jeff?
Yeah, I want to say two things. Firstly, thank you to Brenton for supplying the EPW show. That was fantastic of you. Thanks, Brenton. So much, mate. And we really look forward to seeing Reawakening. I think you can tell that. Jeremiah Kingsley said in a bit of a kayfabe moment, Pitt said backstage that it was the loudest noise he'd heard in a long time. I think you're talking about the stunner, and it was really loud. That did transfer on the video. Secondly, are we coming to Perth in Feb? Well, two of us are, because Todd's otherwise engaged, he told us. He's got some other stuff on through February. But Lachlan and I are coming over. In fact, we are sitting right by each other during the WWE event, and I think we're going to be doing something on the Sunday morning. We might as well announce it.
Might as well.
We're going to be doing a show. We're going to be going out to the Dutch Trading Company at 1:00 on the Sunday afternoon. It's a boozy lunch for everyone who's coming. Tickets will be about $15. We haven't got them on sale yet. There's not going to be many seats. It's going to be it's a really small venue, the DTC, but boy, is it lovely. We cannot wait to come out. We're going to have lots of special guests. It's going to be a lot of fun. Tickets will be on sale soon. We're still finalizing some things for the day before, because if you heard the 10th anniversary, and it's been announced already, we are going to be doing a WrestleBrania on the 24th through the afternoon. So we'll be announcing more about that soon. But yeah, thanks to Brenton. That was a great show. Thanks, mate.
Fantastic. And Jeremiah Kingsley says, hoping to see you boys at the Super Show. I'll say, Jeremiah, I haven't booked my flights yet, but I have booked my Super Show tickets because I was more worried about them selling out than anything else. So speaking of that, again, at epwperth.com, you can get your tickets for the EPW Australian Super Show, which is on Friday, the 23rd of February at the Willetton Basketball Stadium.
I haven't got my Super Show tickets yet, but I will. I certainly will. I got a few things to organise for Perth. You might have picked up.
Well, look, speaking of a few things, we've got more than a few things to talk about around the world of wrestling. So we'll be back to talk about those right after this. And now, for those people who are sticking around with us live, thank you so much for being here with us at twitch.tv/WrestleRadioAustralia. While we have our quick break, we are going to serenade you with a lovely little video. Yeah, thanks, Jeremiah, mentioning Black Friday Jetstar sales. Good call. Toddy, I believe you've got a little match prepared.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Slam on Demand. I'm Sweet Pete Steele, and with me is Lawson.
There we go.
For this huge Slam
Mikey Broderick and Crofty from Slam. So we're going to watch that during the break. So yeah, let's do that. We'll be back in about 5-10 minutes.
Going up against the top shelf champ. I'm really excited for this one, Sweet Pete.
All along the line tonight, Slam Pro League Championship. Crofty, very experienced, over 20 years in professional wrestling, versus the top shelf champ, Mikey Broderick. Listen to this sold-out capacity crowd, Lawson. They're clearly behind the Bogan Warrior.
Solidly behind Crofty's here. Shoulder tackle exchange here by the two competitors. Mikey cutting off Crofty there with a back elbow. Crofty with their huge clothesline in the corner, punches to the head of Mikey Broderick. The crowd's loving this, Sweet Pete.
Absolutely, and Crofty very fired up. This means a lot to him to be the Slam champion.
Reversed there by Mikey. Now Mikey's taken over. Crofty pushing away Mikey. Another clothesline. Punches in the corner. Crofty. 10 corner punches to the champ by Crofty. Big back body drop.
Broderick going for a ride there. Crofty taking control early.
To the outside. Looking underneath the ring. Garbage can.
Broderick from behind though, he's not having it.
He doesn't want any part of that rubbish bin. Looks like he's putting it back under there.
Now Lawson, the Slam Board of Directors made this a no disqualification match after Mikey Broderick came out earlier tonight and really told the Slam fans that he does not like them at all.
The fans were solidly behind Crofty here. After making this a no disqualification match, I believe that the Slam Pro Wrestling League Board of Directors is trying to get that belt onto Crofty to take it off the top shelf champ.
Mikey Broderick trying to wear down the Bogan Warrior here, with the crowd clearly behind him. And back to his feet.
Sidewalk slam by Crofty. Crofty rolling back out to the outside. Looking underneath the ring once again. What has he got? A solid steel chair.
But again, Broderick, he is not interested. The Slam fans not getting what they want here.
He knows how dangerous Crofty can be when he has a weapon in his hand. Baking sheet?
I think it used to be. A massive Mikey Broderick sized dent in that baking sheet there, Lawson.
Another one. Fresh one.
And now it's starting to get interesting. Now we're in Crofty territory. The champ trying to collect his thoughts after they were smushed all over a baking tray. And there it is, the steel chair.
Just love Crofty.
Crofty is a man of the people, and the people want Crofty to go to town on the top shelf champ.
Getting that rubbish bin back out. Sliding it into the ring there. Mikey Broderick back to his feet. Crofty with that rubbish bin lid across the head of the champ. Mikey looking quite dazed here.
A very fired up Crofty.
Suplex there by Crofty. Off the ropes. Huge splash by Crofty. 1, 2.
Only a 2 count there. Broderick kicking out. And Lawson, that's after a baking sheet, a garbage lid bin to the head, and a big splash. The champ's still going.
Got to give it to the champ there, getting up after all of that, all the punishment. Looks like he's going to get some more here.
This cannot end well for anyone.
Right to the eyes by Mikey Broderick. Back suplex onto the steel bin.
Look at that steel bin. Look at the way that Crofty has crushed it.
Could be it. 1, 2. Very close there. The champion almost retaining.
Mikey Broderick now showing that he is just as willing as Crofty to use these weapons to his advantage.
Coming over to us here at the announce desk. What's going on?
Hey, that's my chair.
What's he doing stealing a chair? What are you going to sit on, 3P?
Hey, someone give me a chair back here.
Can we get Pete a chair? Mikey Broderick taking over. Oh! Bending that chair across the back of Crofty. Caving in the chest of Crofty with the edge of that chair across the throat.
Sorry, team.
Oh, thank you.
Mikey's loving himself after that. Sitting down on the chair, just taunting Crofty.
Jeff, just so you know, you're unmuted, mate.
I'm back in the seat too, Lawson.
Thank God.
It's impressive how good Mikey Broderick is in both the heel and the
What's
face
Mikey
roll.
Broderick up to here? Two steel chairs in the middle of the slam ring.
Like he can just pivot between them so effortlessly.
Really showing his disdain for the fans, Mikey Broderick. They wanted to see chairs, well now he's showing them.
All right, so if you want to watch that, the full match, because we won't give away the whole match right now because that doesn't seem right.
No, that's right. Go give the views.
Yeah, exactly. Go give the views to the channel. That's on Slam Wrestling YouTube channel. So please do go and follow them. I thought I'd do that because they got the big show coming up. Yeah.
Speaking of Slam, December 16th, Rage in the Cage.
Get yourselves to Canberra and go the night before for some reason.
You've announced it. You can say WrestleBrania now, Jeff.
Well, yeah, I know, but I just still want to be cryptic. I don't know what I'm doing is better.
Yeah, I want to be cryptic because I don't want them to actually know what I'm doing. I don't want them to actually buy tickets.
Yeah, good point. Get your asses to my show. Costing me a fortune. Do it. I have something to announce about that, but I'll announce it on the podcast because I think that's better. Speaking of which, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Welcome back to Making Chicken Salad, Australia. Yeah. Oh, I'm right on that
again. 5, 4, 3, 2.
Welcome back to Making Chicken Salad, the Wrestle Radio Australia podcast, where we talk about everything going on around the world of wrestling. Speaking of the man in the mask, AEW Full Gear was on.
Legitimately,
there's a lot of matches. Hey. All right, I'm gonna take the reins because you boys are being a bit too silly, I think. Working on popping each other rather than actually looking at the show. Let's talk about 0 Hour first. We had the Ring of Honor World title match in which Eddie Kingston defeated Jay Lethal, who was accompanied by everyone. Then a match between Claudio Castagnoli and Buddy Matthews, with Claudio coming out on top. And a Ring of Honor World tag team title match with MJF and the replacement for Adam Cole in the form of Samoa Joe. What? No way. Defeating the Guns for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships. Anything significant we want to talk about from this 0 Hour?
I didn't watch it.
Just that it was the ROH 0 Hour.
Yeah, 100%.
Ring of Honor featured very little actual ROH people on it.
Yep. 2 ROH World title matches out of 3 matches, and a former the previous Ring of Honor World Champion as well. Like, okay.
Yes.
I'm still confused by this shit. But
yeah. Anyway, main card opened up with a 6-man tag match where Adam Copeland, Darby Allin, and Sting, accompanied by Ric Flair, defeated the Patriarchy. That's Christian Cage, Luchasaurus, and Nick Wayne. Then an AEW International title match.
Orange Cassidy. I think we do what we
go
did
one by one.
Go through match by match. Yeah. I think
cool.
That should be our protocol from now on. But go ahead.
Sounds good. So we had. I really liked the way that Darby Allin, Adam Copeland, and Sting looked like an Animorphs book cover, where you had the little one and then the medium one and then Sting at the end in the full jacket, right? Adam Copeland doing his face up with the half-dead makeup was good fun. And I really like the Patriarchy as a name for Christian Cage's stable here.
Christian Cage is doing both in-ring and out-of-ring the finest work of his career. He is making me laugh so hard. I have a complaint about the commentary announcing the Christian is supporting the charity of the kid that the kids came from, only because it can give him some sympathy, and he's supposed to be a detestable cunt. You are supposed to hate him so much. I don't want them announcing nice things about Christian. I get that he does it, but don't say it. Don't say it, because he's going to start getting cheered, and that's not what anyone wants. I really enjoyed this. I think Nick Wayne did great work as a heel. He really, really pulled it off well. And Luchasaurus is just a beast. I thought this was a terrific opener.
You know, I think Luchasaurus today on Dynamite is now renamed. Was he renamed? What's Christian's finisher called? Kill switch. That's what he's. Yeah.
Awesome.
So he's not Luchasaurus anymore. He's Kill Switch. He's still wearing the mask.
Okay.
No, he's still wearing the mask.
Because Luchasaurus was like a nickname that people gave him when he was in Lucha Underground. Like that wasn't a name, because that's the backstory of that character, is that he was a guy wrestling. In Lucha Underground, he was part of the Snake tribe, so they gave him a mask, and people either called him Luchasaurus or the Undersnaker, and Luchasaurus caught on, and he kept wearing the mask and became Luchasaurus. So
but then he invented the whole mythos that he's a million years old, and
that's all backfilled from there. So I guess it's nice for him to have an actual ring name, because Luchasaurus is a bloody dumb name. All things
I'm quite glad they've changed it as well, because Luchasaurus is kind of a babyface kids appeal type thing.
Yeah.
If you've got a young audience, then Luchasaurus is perfect. AEW doesn't have a young audience, or if they do, the fifth match would have fucked them up royally.
But then too, they're already starting to tease Lucha turning babyface, so we'll see where that goes.
Yeah, we will. I think it was great. I loved it. Great match. A lot of fun.
Yeah. Todd, any other thoughts?
No, I do like how mostly the new guys that come in all want to team with Darby and Sting, so they can at least do the face paint once.
Yep. Got to do the face paint. Get the gimmick in. After this, the AEW International title was on the line, and Orange Cassidy, accompanied by Hook, defeated Jon Moxley, accompanied by Wheeler Yuta, to retain the International title in this little trio of moving around with Moxley and Cassidy and Phoenix that it's been. Why did he lose it? I can't. Can someone explain this to me?
He was injured, I think. Orange. I don't know. No,
Orange.
I can't remember now.
Cassidy lost it to Moxley to move Cassidy up, to then eventually defeat Moxley. But Moxley got injured, so Moxley had to lose it to Phoenix because he got injured mid-match.
Yeah, Moxley got locked out.
It's just fucking no one looks good through this.
It's just
no one looks good.
No.
And Moxley bled again. Yeah, just no. I just didn't need this. I thought this was Orange Cassidy.
The blood of angry monks.
I like Orange Cassidy, but I just didn't need it.
No, totally unnecessary, right?
Yeah.
And I understand the idea is, but even then, if he was losing the title to Moxley just to then beat Moxley for the title, just have him beat Moxley for the title. Don't make him lose it in order to win it back, because that's not a story that you've told. He didn't have to climb the mountain to get back to Moxley, right? Because if that's the story that you're going to tell, that Moxley beat him and now he has to really find it in himself to come back to earn that title again and beat Moxley, there has to be a climb for it. But there wasn't. It was 2 months ago he lost the thing, and now he's back here beating Moxley for it. So what's the point?
I think that, though, everything said, Todd got to see his favorite wrestler, Wheeler Yuta, in this match.
That's
and that
true.
must have made you so happy. I mean, you got a cameo from the guy, so you must just be little
But once
Toddy.
again, Wheeler Yuta doesn't get a chance to win one for Toddy.
No, he doesn't get. He knows Toddy's rooting for him, but he doesn't get a chance.
I don't think he's won one since he did that.
I don't think he has.
Hey Toddy, this is Wheeler Yuta. Your uncles told me you're a big fan, so I just wanted to thank you for that. I appreciate you. I appreciate you cheering for me, rooting for me, giving me all that support. Sorry I don't always come out on top, but hopefully one day I'll win a championship for me and for you, buddy. Also, I hear you're Australian. I hope you're big fans of Aussie Open. I think Kyle and Davis are awesome. They're two of my favorite wrestlers, so hopefully, even though I don't have any gold around my waist, they have some right now. So hopefully they're making you proud as well. But thanks for all the support, Toddy. I'll try to win one for you at Wembley.
Honestly, I'm going to cut a clip of just him saying...
He swung and missed on every one of those fucking predictions. Yeah. I hope I win one. He hasn't won once. I hope fucking Aussie Open have one of them's injured and the other one's poor being a job boy at the moment, unfortunately.
But the Master Stroke was telling him you were 7 or 8 years old. It's
the perfect tone.
It's great.
Oh man, what good stuff. Okay. AEW Women's World Title match. Hikaru Shida lost her title to Toni Storm.
Timeless Toni Storm. Thank you very much.
My apologies.
I think the saddest thing about this match is the crowd just weren't into it because they knew what was going to happen. It was a foregone conclusion. There was no chance Hikaru Shida was walking out with her belt. Look, I think Luther is great in that role. I think Tony's presentation is great. She's got to change her moveset up a little bit. I'd like to see 1 or 2 different things. But gosh, it was funny. What a hilarious match. She's over. She's just the most popular thing in women's wrestling right now. Definitely in AEW. And just, what a laugh. And Tim Wilkes has just said the pants sticking out of her pants was a joke. It was hilarious. It was great.
Great. See, that's where the referee could see it and ignored it. It's dumb shit like that. That's like, if you're going to cheat, that's cool. At least try and not make the referee look like a complete fucking idiot.
I think the referee was Rick Knox, so that's a bit of a challenge.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? They don't have it hanging out your ass in pure view of everything.
The things I have seen Rick Knox count to 3 for.
Yeah. Oh, the ref was Aubrey. Okay, Aubrey was the ref. Well, I mean, yes, I agree. She should have probably just taken it out and thrown it on the ground or thrown it to Luther. But the spot was hilarious, is what I'm saying. The actual
the spot was good. The execution was the shits. Hide it. If you're cheating, hide your cheating.
Yeah,
that was my only. I'm watching it going. I was watching it going. Throw the pan away, throw the tray away, fine. Just leave it hanging out your ass then. Oh, what's that? Aubrey's looking at it right now. Okay, I guess we're not doing this anymore. That's cool.
Do we need to? I know that. Look, I feel really strongly about supporting Gotcha for Life and tinyurl.com/WRA10 if you do want to donate to Gotcha for Life. I think the next charity that we have to support is Guide Dogs for AEW referees. Anyway, moving on. AEW World Tag Team.
And we've got to do something. Can we give money to Rick Knox to recover what obvious injury he's had?
Yeah, whatever's gone on to Rick Knox. Whatever happened to Rick Knox, we need to cure it.
Hang on. I just need a note to self. Get a Rick Knox cameo for Toddy.
Yeah.
Great. Come on.
All right. The AEW World Tag Team titles were on the line with Big Bill and Ricky Starks defending in a 4-way ladder match against the Kings of the Black Throne in the form of Brody King and Malachi Black, and La Fashion Ignoble with Drilistico and Roosh, as well as FTR. Big Bill and Ricky Starks retain.
Yeah,
I don't know why it needed to be a ladder match, but cool.
I like Drilistico and Roosh.
Drilistico and Roosh were great. Brody and Malachi were great. FTR, they're number 1 on the tag team list that we'll talk about later. No big shock. And Big Bill and Ricky were there and the team that were there won. Yeah, well done, Tony. I mean, look, Big Bill's a great story. Big Bill is like, it's wonderful that he's, clearly recovered himself and gotten away from whatever personal demons he had. Ricky Starks is a future, but why? Another one? No. Stop, Tony.
AEW currently have a title on a dude whose name is Big Bill.
Yeah.
Yes, fair.
I want his music changed to
the biggest thing.
It's the Big Bill.
Big Bill.
The biggest thing that I didn't like about this match is that they literally repeated the same spot twice. There was a spot in the match where Cash Wheeler looks at Rouge from across the ring, and they both get in the ring, walk up to each other, and start punching on. Yeah?
Yeah.
5 minutes later, Big Bill looks across the ring at Brody King. They get in the ring and start punching on, almost move for move what the other two did before. And now, if you were going to do it, just do it with Big Bill and bloody Brody King, because that's the one that's a good thing to look at. And no offense to Cash, but I don't really care about Cash and Rouge beating on each other because they're not impressively large people.
I think
Rouge is pretty big. I thought they were going to do it again, and they were going to have like 4 different permutations of it.
Very okay, yeah.
The biggest problem was also the match had almost no heat. Like
it's just it's a spot match.
Yeah, but they didn't build it enough. There was almost no story to this. Mind you, it's AEW.
It was throw 8 guys into a ring and what do we need to do? We'll put a ladder in there because that'll do some stuff.
Yeah. I mean, even Santino Marella had a fucking a chair game to build a match. You know what I mean? Like anything to build a match. Just do it. Just build the match because then people are more invested in it.
Speaking of, AEW TBS title was on the line. Chris Statlander defending against Sky Blue and Julia Hart with new champion Julia Hart.
They're going with a hot hand. I think they cut Statlander off pretty too soon because I think she was doing some really good stuff. I've seen a lot of really good matches with her, like defending that title. Julia has been getting some really good reviews of her entrance and her gimmick. Not so much her matches. And I think they just went with that. I think they pulled that trigger too early on it.
Yep,
I mean, you can, disagree with me or not, but I'm just, I think they went too early because they were like, oh, we just want to capitalize on this.
I agree. Now, it seems like they've gone from Jade Cargill, who certainly started as a work in progress, but wound up being a reasonably good in that spot and had some really good matches. They gave it to Chris Statlander, who is an excellent wrestler, and now they're giving it to Julia Hart.
Yeah. I mean,
something's wrong with that.
She has a lot of potential to be good.
Yes. But I think at the point they've given it to her, Jade was better at that point than Julia is now, and that's slightly concerning for me. But saying that, AEW just don't have enough belts. I think they should have, at least another 10 or 15 belts are needed in that company because none of them are disappearing. Yeah.
They are because they're getting some are getting amalgamated, as we'll talk about later.
Yeah.
But this next match didn't have a title on the line, and that's just wrong, right? This was a Texas death match between Swerve Strickland and Adam Page. Swerve Strickland came out on top, but I believe he is now one of the creatures of the night after Adam Page drank his blood. And I guess the big story coming out of this match was Prince Nana, right? Like, that's all anyone's talking about this match. There's no other conversations going on. People are just like, I like the way Prince Nana dances.
Sure. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Todd, do you want to take it away?
Look, Like, I'm gonna be first of all, I'm just gonna be nitpicky. It wasn't a Texas death match. It was a last man standing death match. A Texas death match by the rules is you have the match, there are no rules, but once somebody gets pinned, they have 10 seconds to get to their feet. If they don't get to their feet in 10 seconds, then the match is over. That's what they just did was just it wasn't even a death match because it was a last man standing death match. And it was just a lot of stuff like let's try and shock people is what it was. And thank God for once AEW production finally worked a way to cut away from a guy when he's about to gig himself, because they nearly did it again with bloody Adam Page. Because there was a shot where you see Adam Page going for the gig and starting to move up to his head, where the director's actually gone, oh shit, we're probably not supposed to film this. Cut away to Swerve, quick. Like, I'm not even going with the staplings. The staple stuff is the staple stuff. It is what it is. Like, at this point in time, I'm just like, you're going to be stupid, be stupid. But if you're shooting yourself in the chest, why should it really fucking bother you if you shoot somebody else in it with it? I'm just saying. Anyway, carry on, boys. You can be good now that I've been angry.
No, I'm angry. I'm angry. I thought this was pretty gross. Like, I'm not a huge fan of deathmatch, and possibly, I will be honest, part of that is probably because of what has happened in Melbourne of late with the deathmatch company. It's DMDU. I'm not going to fucking hide that. So I'm over it. I don't think it was needed. I think that they could have wrestled a match that was a hardcore match that was half of what this was. Because this went from 0 to 400 in 3 minutes. It's that old thing, and Todd, we discussed this on the 10-hour stream. You said, what do you do if you open with a ladder match? There's nowhere to go. There was nowhere to go after 3 minutes of this, and there was another 26. It stopped being entertaining. When you have one man who squeezes another man's head to get blood running out of it for shock value, it is not entertainment. I'm not entertained by that. The thing is, though,
like, some people were entertained by it. This is that's the sad thing about it. Some people were still entertained by it. Well, I'd say the sad thing, it's flavors of ice cream, and I get that. Yeah, I completely understand that.
And I get that too, Todd. But where do they go next? What? Yeah, a crucifixion match?
Mate, you're preaching to the choir.
I just felt that with 26 minutes after a guy's drunk another guy's blood, and Swerve Scott is a 57 on the Muta scale, there's nowhere else to go. Stop. I honestly, I've thought about this match for a few days, and I'm on the side of fuck off. Never do that again. The other reason you should never do it is because you've got kids that do this shit in school on a Monday morning. Now, you might think that children don't watch AEW, but fuck off. Of course they do. There are children that do this shit. Have some responsibility to society.
Would you like to hear something that'll probably really make you even more angry?
Go on.
On Cage Match, which we all know is very reliable for sources of rating matches and whatnot.
How do the Cage Match users feel about this one, Todd?
Yeah. Okay. What would you think? Well, we'll play a game.
So I know.
Yeah, I'm not.
So
Jeff, what would you guess?
I know I'm taking a unique stance on this. I reckon that again. A 4.5.
9.64.
Oh, no. It's up to 10. I'm sorry. I thought it was up to 5. Yeah, that doesn't entirely surprise me.
Yeah, it's like
one of
the top 10 AEW matches of the year at this point.
Out of 673 valid votes, 529 of them voted it a 10 match.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's that thing of the crowd were into it. So what do I know?
I thought this match was fine. I wish it had more psychology. I find that death matches for me, there's a line between a death match that's a death match to be a death match, and a death match because it makes you believe that two men hate and want to absolutely destroy each other and need to use weapons beyond the scope of a normal hardcore match to do that. I've seen Swerve in those kinds of matches before, right? Mm-hmm. I know, take another drink because I'm bringing up Lucha Underground again this episode. The Hell of War match that he had with AR Fox when he was Killshot was unreal. So good. Dude can work a really good death match.
But you know what, too? The story going into it was really fucking good.
Yeah.
Like there was a spot from this actual angle that, like, thinking about it now, will probably be one of my chicken salads for the episode because I enjoyed it so very much. But then to feed into the match it became, I was just like, oh, you're just going too far. I understand what you're trying to do, but you're going too far. And then like Alex Firehart says, they have Brian Cage in on the finish as well. And like, it's just a little extra thing you didn't need. There was a lot of stuff you didn't need. You probably didn't need to go to 1,000 now. They probably could have kept this going a little bit longer if they wanted to. Mm-hmm. But I guess with the TK1 coming up, yes, that's what I'm calling the tournament, TK1. TK1 climax match.
I think the T1 climax, TK1. I think that this you're right. Brian Cage should not have been out there. It really stopped being entertaining and just became a freak show, if you want the truth. It just became a freak show. Now, if you want to watch a good death match, I can't remember if it was a death match or a hardcore match or whatever they called it. Foley and Funk had a match on Raw, of all places, to become the number one contender. It was just after Foley was starting to turn heel in the Dude Love persona. Actually, he was Mick Foley for this match and then became Dude Love. This is brutal, and it's fantastic. It was a false count anyway. Thank you, Alex. I knew someone would know in the chat. It's brutal and fantastic and filled with small character work and all the things that we all love about wrestling. The problem also was the character work was all over the place. The crowd wanted Swerve. Hangman was just there to provide more bloody shots. It just, the whole thing leaves me feeling a bit cold. But the 9.68 doesn't.
The two lowest rated matches on this show were Tony Storm's match and the main event. They were the only two that didn't crack a 5.
On what?
Out of 10. On Cage match.
Oh, right.
So Tony Storm's match was a 4.84, and the main event got a 4.7.
Yeah. Alex has just chimed in with, surprisingly, he doesn't think that Foley or Funk played at all in that. They didn't. It ended with a pile driver, Foley doing a pile driver to Funk on the announce table. But what a brilliant match it is. Like, go and watch that. I would watch that any day over whatever the hell that thing was. Okay, and that's what I'm going to call it.
Look,
it was Swerve Strickland against Adam Page in a whatever the hell that thing was match.
Yeah. Look, people are raving about it, but for me, like, it wasn't a Texas death match, and it just wasn't my flavor of ice cream. No. Which is a shame because I really liked the way that the storyline was going to come into this.
And they're both great. They're both really good.
Yeah, they probably could have done something really good without having to do all this gimmick.
Didn't have enough yoga mats on a chair.
Are we doing deathmatch recommendations? Because I got one more that was way better than this. Which is like, obviously it was. Atsushi Onita and Hayabusa had a barbed wire steel cage match.
Yeah.
Watch that one. There is no reason to watch the one from this show. Because it was also...
Again, and I'm going to say it again. It wasn't a Texas death match either. It was just a death match. It had a cowboy in it, so let's call it the Texas death match.
Yep.
You know, over the weekend, I brought up that we're out of the era of seeing Axel and Ian Rotten in glass covered. You remember I spoke about it briefly on the 10th anniversary from memory. I felt like this was a callback to those days that no one really needs.
Yeah, it's like someone heard you and went, "Oh yeah, dickhead, we'll find out. Have a look at this."
Yeah. Watch us stop that fuckwit.
Yeah.
And we do know that Swerve and Adam Page listen, so thank you for
yeah. They're subscribers.
All right, next match. The Young Bucks put their their tag team title shot on the line, up against the Golden Jets being forced to disband. But Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega won, so we have to watch Omega be hamstrung by Chris Jericho for a little longer. Honestly, though, this was either way, we won because either Omega didn't have to hang around with Jericho anymore, or the Young Bucks didn't get a title shot. So really, it's win-win in one way.
Yeah, and now the Bucks are going on with some storyline about they're not on TV for a while now, and they're not doing being the elite. And I think they've
sad.
Yeah, they've trademarked something else, something like FTB or something like that. I can't remember. So
sure,
we'll see where this is going. I guess the whole they're trying to do the basically their gimmick now is what Punk has been telling everyone that they are.
Yep.
So yeah, we'll find out where it goes. Again,
I think
I could care less for the Golden Jets.
Yeah, the next storyline they're going to do is the loser of the next tag team match has to manage a target for a week.
I like somebody put a photo, like Chris Jericho put a photo of the four of them from that 8-man match, cluster match that was on Dynamite the week. You know what is Kota Ibushi, those two, and then
where they threw everyone in.
Yeah, the big show. Somebody had taken a photo. He put up a photo of them all walking into the building in their suits. And somebody wrote if you bought Evolution off Wish.
Yeah, I saw that.
And then somebody was just like, it looks like somebody left Triple H in the dryer for too long. And he got caned in the comments. It was interesting to see.
And then yep, go on.
Thank you. I was just going to say, I really don't need to see Chris Jericho on every AEW pay-per-view.
Nope.
But on the bright side, he didn't try and be Freddie Mercury,
That's something.
He did.
And then for the AEW World title, MJF, accompanied by Adam Cole, defeated Jay White, accompanied by the Guns. So that happened. This is still going.
Yeah.
Look, the storyline going through the whole night was MJF got attacked after the tag match, so he got his leg taken out. And then Adam Cole, who's not cleared to compete, was going to defend the titles for him anyway, which made no sense. So MJF's not clear to compete, so we're going to have another guy who's not clear to compete.
He's not clear to compete.
And then MJF, very much in old school WWE style, stole an ambulance and came back into the ring and wrestled the match on one leg-ish. Which was funny because I actually hear that he popped his hip or something during this match as well. Had to get it popped back in. So, but yeah.
And now recent signing Jay White confirmed can't beat a man with one leg. Right?
Yeah.
This happened.
This happened. All right, so there's our review of the main event of that show.
It's really frustrating that the two titles they've got, like two of their most represented titles in the international title and the AEW World title, they're matches that just happened. You're just kind of like, eh. And the thing that pissed me off most of all is we still don't know, in inverted commas, who the demon is. Like, how much longer are they going to... I don't think they've got any...
I can't even remember... Did the devil even show up on this show?
No.
Not on the pay-per-view, no.
No, because he showed up tonight on Dynamite when Adam Cole and MJF were in the ring. MJF hit his line like you're not on the level of the devil, and then it cut to the devil, and he laughed with a computer-generated voice. But then straight after that, Samoa Joe came out, so people are saying now that it's not Adam Cole or it's not Samoa Joe.
Yeah,
I guess we'll see.
What I can't wait for is when before it's revealed that the demon system goes, the demon baby. Yeah, that'll be great.
It was me, Austin.
Yeah, it's Vince McMahon.
Obviously. So yeah, that was that show. It was too long. That's my review. There was some enjoyable stuff, but mostly it was long and fine. Anyway, Continental Classic's been announced. So this is, as Todd mentioned, the TK1. It's a big old tournament with 2 blocks, 20-minute time matches.
Prefer to call it the TK1 Climax tournament because
TK1
we all know
Climax. That's right.
That's what happens to Tony when he thinks about tournaments.
That's right. 20-minute time limit, 3 points for a win, 1 point for a draw. Everyone is banned from ringside. Almost said wingside there.
No,
we got 2 blocks.
Correct.
Blue block or Blue League, I believe they're called, is Bryan Danielson, Andrade El Idolo, Brody King, Claudio Castagnoli, Eddie Kingston, and Daniel Garcia. Gold League is John Moxley, Swerve Strickland, Roosh, Mark Briscoe, Jay Lethal, and Jay White. So it's going to be good matches. Like it's a good tournament. Eddie Kingston has announced that his New Japan Strong and Ring of Honor titles will be on the line in every match he wrestles. They're also going to be amalgamated with the Continental title for a Triple Crown title reminiscent of the J Crown.
See, this is weird because today on Dynamite, those titles were already out sitting on the table. And he wasn't in any of those matches. So I think he's just surrendered the titles. And whoever wins this...
Yeah, I think he fucked up the promo. And it's for whoever wins the whole tournament.
Yeah. So... that now will be the second time that they've done something where, he isn't defending the title. Yeah, you're correct, Alex. That will be now. I wrote Eddie Langston in the thing. That would be the second time now that in Ring of Honor, for no real reason, the person is losing a title or giving up a title without actually passing it on to somebody else, like for a decent reign. Like they did it last, especially in ROH one as well. Yep. They did it.
Yep.
They did it with Samoa Joe for no apparent reason, and now they're doing it with Eddie Kingston.
So 20-minute time limits, 3 points for a win, 1 point for a draw. Everyone is banned from ringside. You're right. The matches will be fine. There's no Yano, so I'm not going to be yelling at the TV if I watch it.
You know what's disturbing to me though? What's disturbing to me looking at the field is the New Japan Strong titles on the line. There's not one New Japan Strong wrestler in this tournament. You think you might have been able to pop somebody in there from New Japan?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fair point.
Tim Wilson asks what's going to happen at the Ring of Honor pay-per-view in December.
The TV title tournament.
Yeah, it's going to be it.
That's what they'll do. I wrote an article. Company? Yeah, I wrote an article for PW Down Under this past week saying, like, equating Tony Khan's Ring of Honor to the WWE's ECW. And it seems to be more and more relevant as the days go on when I look at this sort of thing. Stuff like this and stuff like Samoa Joe just giving up the TV title. And it doesn't really matter what happens on their TV shows because he's just going to book random matches for their pay-per-view anyway, and people are going to watch them because he's going to book randomly good matches. So it is what it is.
And it's a matter of time before Kevin Thorne shows up. Anyway, WWE have got Survivor Series coming up. Let's talk about what the card looks like. First off, we've got a War Games 8-woman tag team match. Becky Lynch Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair, Charlotte Flair, and Shotzi are going to take on Damage Control in the form of Asuka, Bayley, Io Sky, and Kairi Sane. There's going to be a singles match with Carlito versus Santos Escobar, an Intercontinental title match with Gunther versus The Miz, a Women's World title match with Rhea Ripley defending against Zoe Stark, and a War Games 10-man tag team match with Drew McIntyre and the Judgment Day in the form of Damian Priest, Dominic Mysterio, Finn Balor, and JD McDonough versus the team of Cody Rhodes, Jey Uso, Randy Orton, Seth Rollins, and the returning Sami Zayn.
No.
Let me try that one again. Cody Rhodes, Jey Uso, Sami Zayn, Seth Rollins, and the returning Randy Orton.
I got you back, Lachlan, in 3, 2, 1.
Drew McIntyre. No. Yeah, so 2 War Games matches here. No traditional Survivor Series elimination matches. Again, makes me sad. But this is what it's going to be.
Look, I think this will be great. I think this will be a really fun show. I am so looking forward to that Women's War Game match. I'm almost thinking that they might... Something is going to happen there. Like, I think
they're going to turn on
teams
Bayley,
are going to fall apart. Teams are definitely going to fall apart. Sorry?
They're turning on Bayley. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. But we also know that Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair in the real world legit don't like each other anymore. So that's going to be an interesting dynamic. And whether they move that along somehow. I am absolutely chomping at the bit for this match. I think this will be fantastic. I also, what I thought was excellent this week was Gunther and The Miz on the mic.
That promo was fantastic. Yeah.
It spat hot fire.
It was uncomfortable in places, which I really enjoyed when he was just bullying him at the end there.
I love Gunther saying you were bullied at school and then you came here and you were bullied here because you're not a wrestler. You're a sports entertainer. It almost picked up what Brian Danielson was saying years ago. Like it had that same level of intensity and uncomfortable nature. Oh, just fantastic. And Gunther is so good on the mic. We don't get it often, but when we do, boy, is he good.
Also, Santos Escobar had a really good promo on SmackDown as well.
Yes.
I'm liking, I assume this is Santos Escobar's start of the gauntlet through all of the LWO with Carlito here. That's going to culminate in the big Santos versus Rey Mysterio WrestleMania match.
As long as
or Legado is going to turn and join Santos again. Because let's face it, I don't think they're very strong away from him.
No.
Even if they're in like an LWO with Carlito and Ray, I think they're better with Santos. And I would like to see them like maybe turn and join. But we'll see what happens going forward. I really did enjoy the Santos promo though.
Yeah, absolutely. Good. Hopefully, Rhea and Zoe have a really good match. Maybe good, maybe shit.
I think
sometimes maybe good.
Zoe's showing a lot of promise. And Rhea is just a phenom. Amazing.
Oh, yeah. And then that 10-man War Games is going to be chaos. It's going to be enjoyable chaos, but it's just going to be chaos.
You know what's great about this? You've got 9 really good workers and Dominic, who is rapidly improving. Like the guy is just getting better and better. This won't miss. This will be really good. What I'm wondering is how Jimmy Uso is going to factor in, because you know he's going to be around somewhere. And I think that's going to be the hot angle coming out of this, that they're still wanting to tear each other apart. Because I reckon that's building to a WrestleMania match, and it's going to be a beaut.
Yeah. All right. So, yeah, that's what the Survivor Series card looks like. Let's talk about some other news. First off, Will Ospreay has signed with AEW officially. That's good. He was wrestling there anyway.
Well, look, it's the only way that, like, he gets to live at home. Like, I think I tweeted about it the other day. And it's the perfect storm for him, really, when you think about it. and like I sort of had a little like inside info because I talked to Brooksy on the weekend, and we just sort of like passing talked about it. And the way that like explained it to me, I was just like, yeah, kind of like, I don't blame him. I'd fucking do it too. If you're going to pay me X amount of dollars and then fucking, what is it? I wrote, I completely understand Will Ospreay signing with AEW over WWE. Being paid, I'd imagine near on to over $1 million. I don't know what he's getting paid. Getting paid near on to over $1 million a year, not having to relocate to America, no house show schedule. He won't get a WrestleMania moment, but it's still setting himself up financially for life. Smart move. It really, like it 100% is.
Yep.
Like if you're someone that like Will, who would really, he didn't want to relocate. He didn't want to move to America. Not now that he's got a wife and kids. It's a whole thing. And look at Park. Park's been with AEW now for what, 3-4 years? He still lives in England. He wrestles when he sort of wants to. Has the dream deal. I don't know what he's getting paid, but I dare say he'd be getting paid a fair amount.
And if you're AEW, it's a no-brainer to sign Ospreay, right?
Yeah, 100%. Even if it's to keep him away from WWE.
Yep.
And let's be honest. Look, you know, he could be jobbing to Jericho. So we are happy that he's there just for Jericho's benefit.
Now, you don't job to Jericho unless you're in Japan working for your home promotion. Then you job to Jericho. Big shout out to Takeshita.
Yes.
All right, PWI have put out the top 100.
Oh, before we go into any further, because we didn't talk about it with Survivor Series, what or who do you think Shinsuke Nakamura is talking about?
I don't know.
Because I know everyone's thinking maybe it's Punk, but I'm not falling. I'm not going to say that at all because
there's a couple of things. One is I really don't think Punk's going to go back to WWE right now. I really don't. Only because he wasn't happy at AEW. He wasn't happy at WWE. I think he's like reevaluate. What do you actually want to do?
So I think the match is John Cena and Shinsuke wins to build this. John Cena's lost his. Why not?
Cena's injured.
Cena just had two arm surgeries.
Oh, never mind then.
Go about your business.
Yep. I think
because what I was thinking was it was going to be Cena. Cena gets absolutely squashed. The bell rings. Kinshasa 3 count. And that builds into Cena's WrestleMania program of Austin Powers 2, I've lost my mojo, baby. And he needs to get his win at WrestleMania. And that's a big WrestleMania.
Yeah. No, unfortunately.
I think it's possibly someone like a Gargano just to go out there and have a match. Yeah, I know. But just to give like 15 minutes
after all the promos that Nakamura's been cutting.
Yeah. Or a Gable.
Yeah, it could be AJ Styles.
It could be AJ Styles coming back. Alex Firehart speculated that. Yeah, it could be AJ.
What if
go on.
Hear me out. Shinsuke comes out, lights go down, spotlight comes up on the stage. There is someone in a hoodie sitting cross-legged with a microphone. And Grayson Waller pulls the hood down.
That's funny.
Hey, how about that?
Right?
How about that? Hey?
If he wasn't already entwined with Kevin Owens.
And the Swifties at the moment.
And the Swifties.
Yes.
I think if it's Punk, hey, that's amazing. Well done. But I don't think it is.
No, I don't think it is.
No, it's not.
I think
it would be cool though, considering they sort of got rid of all the rumors by announcing Orton early, which was smart to not lead it into. They'd have led it into Survivor Series, saying that there was a mystery opponent, a mystery partner, yada yada yada. Orton might not have got a really great reaction when his music hit, because everyone would have been waiting for whatever, kill switch engaged or.
They won't use this fire burns. It'd have to be living color. They would have
No, well,
to
see,
have the personality.
it depends because Tony could still own that. So why wouldn't you use his original?
Because everyone hates it except me.
I love that song.
I love that
I don't
song.
think everyone hates it. I don't think everyone
Get a
hates it.
room.
It's the most generic butt rock metal song ever.
It's so bad. It's so bad.
Burns always. Want to talk about the PWI 100?
Let's do that.
Top tag teams of 2023. Here's the top 10. Number 1 is FTR. Number 2 is Aussie Open. Number 3 is Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Number 4 is Bishamon. Number 5 is the Motor City Machine Guns. Number 6 is ABC, coming out of Bullet Club. Number 7 is The Acclaimed. Number 8 is The Judgment Day. Number 9 is Damage Control. And number 10 is 7-Apu. With other notable Aussies coming in at number 33 is the Parea. And number 40 is the Velocities. Sorry, I got to do the gimmick. Number 33 is the Parea. And number 40 is the Velocities.
So
Jeff,
we have the second best team in the world are Australian. I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yep, that's right.
That is awesome.
The second best team in the world, Kyle Fletcher and Mark Davis. Second only to FTR. Feels right. They're above Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Feels right.
Feels great.
So, Jeff, you think that top 10 is just about perfect, right?
I have a problem with number 4.
Number 4 being Yoshihashi and Hiroki Goto. Bishamon.
Yes, I don't have a problem with Bishamon. Bishamon certainly would be one of the top 100 tag teams of the year. But where are the Usos? In the time frame that's specified, the Usos were having incredible matches. Week in and week out. They were on almost every SmackDown, either tagging with the rest of the island of relevancy, or they were on pay-per-views, and they had one of the best WrestleMania matches this year. So I think that they absolutely deserve to be there, and they deserve to be in at number 4. It just, without the Usos there, it just feels a bit weird.
I'd like to see the full list and see where they actually ended up. Because I tried to look for the full list and I couldn't actually find it anywhere. So, because I'd like to know where the Bucks ended up. I'd like to know where the Usos ended up. I'd like to know where like guys like Imperium.
Yeah,
it would be interesting.
Where were Imperium? Where were the Creed brothers as well? The Creed brothers are great.
Yeah, but I don't know if they had a lot of really good matches this year.
Oh, actually, they did have some downtime this year. Yes, good point.
So I completely understand the Acclaimed, ABC, Motor City Machine Guns should be on every list all the time. Everywhere. Yes. I love those guys.
Yeah.
It's amazing that they're still performing at that level too.
Yeah, 100%.
I think 7-Up is a great
Sorry,
choice.
Tim asked, did top tier qualify? I don't think we did because we didn't have a hell of a lot of tag team matches. Like we had really good. All the tag team matches we had were against like the best in the world / country, but we never actually had a lot of tag team matches. Like I think in total we had maybe 4 or 5, but they were against the NWA tag team champions. Then it was against.
There was a triple
Robbie,
threat with the Parea and
Kazarian and Young.
Yep.
And you were mentioning Robbie and
Fajita. There was one with Undeniable Monsters.
Yeah, Bobby Bishop and Rip Riley. And I think that's about it.
I think that's it.
They're just really fucking good. They just haven't had a lot of tag matches.
Yeah.
And one also with
number 10. Sorry,
also against AJ Istria and what's his name? Soul on Pro League.
Yes, Istria and Blackwell. Yeah.
No, Istria and Soul.
Oh, Soul. That's right.
Yes, not Solomon.
Seoul. Yeah,
yes.
That's right. I'm like,
Korea.
What are you talking about? Was that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We beat the old boys up.
That's right. 7-Apu number 10 is a really great pick. That is the team that used to be fronted by Alpha Female. What was she called? Jazzy Gabbett.
Gabbett? Yeah, Gabby Gazzett. I was about to say.
Jazzy Gabbett.
Yeah, the Nightmare Assassin squad, Alex Fireheart. You're absolutely right. So yeah, that's you and Takahashi. Nane Takahashi. It's a great team.
I also think it's absolutely great to see ABC in there. Just terrific. A fantastic tag team. Like, they've got an old school feel about them as two quick, rapid, devastating wrestlers. Really good. And they both look great. Like, so much time for Austin and Bay. Really.
Also, very cool to see 2 women's teams in the top 10.
Yes.
Yeah. Because I don't know how many other like women's tag teams would you say were like regularly teaming?
It depends what promotions
you know what I mean?
you're talking about, right? Because if you look at Stardom and Shimmer.
Yeah, I suppose,
right?
Yeah.
Because that's where 7-Up Who Come From is from Stardom. So, like, it's much of a muchness when you start incorporating those women's promotions into it.
I also think WWE have some, but they're not used well. Like, I do have an issue with the fact that Katana Chance and Kaden Carter are both really good athletically. They have a great look about them. Their matches, the ones I've seen, have been reasonably good, but yet they're not really used that much.
Yeah, fully
agree.
They
have a really good chance of being a really good tag team if they have the opportunity.
Yeah, well, look, having 3 Aussie tag teams on this list, and especially Aussie Open at number 2, shows you just how good Australian wrestling is. So I think everyone needs to get out and see some Australian wrestling. So here's some things coming up soon. December 1st, this is just over a week away, is PWL Bayside Brawl at the Wynnum Fringe Festival here in Brisbane. That's got Outback Adam versus Tim Hayden for the PWL title, as well as a bunch of other matches on it. So if you're in Brisbane, that's December 1st at the Wynnum Fringe Festival. In Melbourne on December 10th is MCW Endgame. There's still some tickets left, I believe, for that. That's the one main evented with Brooksy and Edward Dusk in the Sacrament. Dusky just showing that he is a main event caliber wrestler over at Renegades, and now he's getting the chance to do it with Brooks in his match, so that's worth getting to. December 16th, the week after that, in Canberra at the National Convention Centre, is Slam Wrestling's Rage in the Cage. That one's got the main event of Broderick and Watts in a steel cage, as well as the big battle royale. Get your tickets now at slamprotix.com.au if you're in Canberra. And if you're in Canberra the night before, December 15th, you can find WrestleBrania X Slam. That one's happening December 15th, as mentioned. Make sure to get along to that one. I know I will be there.
Just a second, Locke. Hate to interrupt the man in the mask, but how about this? How about it's Black Friday tomorrow? Everything else is on sale. I'm going to drop those WrestleBrania tickets. They're normally $35 each. If you book them between Friday and Monday night, I'll get up early in the morning and do this. Every ticket will be $30. I'll drop knock $5 off the price. So to everyone listening who's going to be there on the 15th, and everyone in the chat, and everyone come along, $30 tickets. That's as cheap as I can make them, literally.
And look, if you're not getting along to Slam on December 16th because you're too far away in Perth, there's Reawakening 22. That one's Saturday, the 16th of December as well at the Willerton Basketball Stadium. And tickets for that one are at epwperth.com. There's your Aussie Wrestling Roundup for the month of December, more or less. I'm sure there's more stuff happening, but man, there's a lot of good stuff going on in Aussie wrestling. Speaking of good stuff, speaking of bad stuff as well, chicken salad and chicken shit. Let's start with the shit. Let's go negative, and then we can pick ourselves up later. Jeff, give us some chicken shit.
Yeah. For me, and we did mention this earlier, it was the Swerve Hangman match, just because I just don't want to see that. I felt a bit sick. I felt like, both wrestlers are better than that. I think that's the thing that's upset me most, is both are better than that kind of match. So yeah, just a bit disappointed in that. I know I'm alone in that thought.
I don't think you're necessarily alone. Hard to argue with that. Todd?
You go, man. I'm still trying to think of the one I want to focus in on.
You know what? Me too. I'm going to say... What am I going to say? Yeah, I think I've got it. I think it's going to be just the way that AEW keeps packing these events with matches like Orange Cassidy and John Moxley, where it's just like, it feels like there's no thought going into it. And the problem is that I really like both of those guys, and I love the idea of the international title, and yet I don't care about the match at all because the storyline feels like an absolute waste of time. Right? Like, it's this. I love Claudio Castagnoli and Buddy Matthews, but I'm not tuning into the pre-show to watch it between 2 Ring of Honor title matches and not even on a main show. I should want to, but it just feels like it's part of a pre-show to a show that goes for several hours, and it's like, how much time have I got for this? Really? Because you're not making it matter. And that's my chicken shit, is that shit doesn't matter. Todd, have you got something?
Yeah, I should I just quickly scoured. Do you remember I brought up on the marathon somewhere in the 10 hours that we're getting dangerously close to seeing MJF as Super Cena?
Yeah.
And I think that's still a thing. I think it's I don't know when, I don't know how, but I think the crowd are just going to start turning. They're just going to start, because he just doesn't lose through anything. Like, they could have had him lose the diamond ring, and it wouldn't have really mattered anything. It would have just added a layer to his thing, and he didn't lose. They could have had him lose this tag thing, and then the tag titles, because it wouldn't have really mattered. Because if Adam Cole's really injured, he's not coming back for fucking ages. So what are you going to do? Keep having him beat established tag teams again and again, even though it was with the help of Samoa Joe, to give Samoa Joe a title shot, and that was the way they were explaining it. Then to go through and with a bad leg still beat Jay White, a former New Japan Pro Wrestling champion, who's been on the top of the world everywhere but AEW, and have him beat him fairly cleanly. Let's fairly. I mean, Adam Cole still helped him, but yeah. It's a little like, what's this show going to have? MJF wins. Cena wins. They're dangerously close for ruining something that's really good.
I would concur with that. I think that the problem is they've no idea who the demon is, and they're treading water until they can work that shit out.
I think it's Adam Cole, and they're hoping he gets better sooner than what he is. Maybe if he's really injured, if it's not kayfabed.
Yeah. They've backed themselves into a corner, and it's fucked. And it's bringing the show down.
On the brighter side, Jeff, do you have a chicken salad for us?
I do. And it's an AEW chicken salad. And it's this. I can't quite do it justice, but I thought this was hilarious. Dearest Anthony, please excuse my absence at your little scrum. I had to board an aeroplane. I am going to Peter Lawford's beach house for the weekend. Nevertheless, I'm still your new AEW Women's Champion, and I expected to be lauded as such on the Turner Broadcasting Station. Give Ted my best. If you must talk about me, do be kind and don't drink so much coffee. Forever timeless, Tony Storm. Absolutely exceptional. Just great character work. I know a few weeks ago, Todd, you were saying how you thought it had jumped the shark. If you have,
just the silent movies. The silent movies.
Yeah, but this is just boring. This was absolutely wonderful. Just really funny. I mean, the stop drinking so much coffee is a bit of a veiled thing, which is fine. But Tony Khan could barely get through this letter at the press conference. He was just laughing so hard. And it was great. I just loved it.
Also, did you notice that dork is still wearing the Inoki bloody thing that he got given to by Inoki's sons at the... Oh, fuck. Anyway.
Yeah.
My
Todd,
chicken salad.
Chicken salad. What's yours?
Yes, I know. My chicken salad, again, it's an AEW thing. So, like, I backhand, but then also pat on the back. I loved the promo going into Full Gear with Adam Page and Swerve Strickland, where they weren't allowed to hit each other. So they cut this full promo where they got stuck into each other. And then Adam at the end said, I'm not allowed to hit you, but I can hit Nana. And beats the living shit out of Nana, knowing that Swerve could not stop him and just had to watch because he wasn't allowed to touch him. That was brilliant. I loved that. I thought that was so good. Such a good twist to it where, fine, I'm not allowed to touch you, but I can beat your boy up right in front of you and you can't do a damn thing about it. That's great. That's good stuff.
Alrighty. I've got two because one of them's little and the other one I've already talked about. So the one I've already talked about is Wide Bay Pro Wrestling had an interstate title match between Renegade and Adam Brooks that was bloody phenomenal. Unbelievable in every way that I can enjoy a match other than comedy. This match delivered. It was absolutely exceptional. I am so impressed by and proud of Renegade for the way he stepped up to this match. I am always blown away by Adam Brooks, but on this night, more so than ever. It was the little things, right? Renegade was selling the left arm the whole match. Renegade's finisher is a handspring stunner. So he does a leap and does a handstand bouncing into the ropes and then comes backwards and does a stunner. Went for the handspring stunner once, couldn't get the left arm on the ground, fell over trying to do it, right? Rested up the arm, purposely kept not using it to deliver blows, wrestled around it. Later in the match, goes for the handspring stunner again. What does Brooksy do? As he does the handspring, drop kicks the left arm. It's perfection. It's everything you could want. Brooksy was selling the back excellently the whole match, so it was like a war of like anatomy focus that is so important to wrestling. Those stories of, I am targeting this part of someone's body so that they can't do moves that they do, right? Renegade targeted Brooksy's back so that the swanton would hurt him too much to be able to capitalize on. Brooksy targeted Renegade's arm so he couldn't hit the handspring stunner. Bloody brilliant stuff. I loved every inch of the match. Can't recommend it highly enough. When it goes on YouTube, we'll talk about it here so that I can point everyone to that match. The thing that people can see right now, that I'm sure no one cares about but me, was Konosuke Takeshita dressing up as Goro Majima for that match. I didn't care for the match. The match was a cluster of whatever. But that Takeshita as a Majima cosplay, mwah, superb. What a great character choice for him with the eye patch and the baseball bat and the snake skin and the red pants. Superb. As a Yakuza video game fan, a Like a Dragon fan, it was everything I wanted for that reference. I think the suits on the faces were nothing. I know it was a Yakuza 4 reference. I think it was crap. But the Goro Majima cosplay that Takeshita did was picture perfect. I loved it. And look, I know that's a niche franchise, but hey, so's Wrestle Radio Australia. And if you want to get Wrestle Radio Australia to be less of a niche franchise, you've got to get us out into more ears. And a way you can do that is by sharing us. Put a review on Apple Podcasts. Go there, give us 5 stars. It really helps us get more listeners. While you're there, hit subscribe. Hey, you can hit subscribe on any platform we're on, whether that's YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podcast Addict, whatever it is. Hit subscribe. Over here at twitch.tv/WrestleRadio Australia, you can follow us so you get notified whenever we go live. You can also hit that subscribe button to support us. Our social media at WrestleRadio AU on X and Instagram. You can follow Todd at Beast Eastman on X. I'm at Lachlan Albert. Jeff is at Jeff_Seti. He's also got WrestleBrania at Wrestle_Brania. We'll say it again. December 15th in Canberra. WrestleBrania X Slam. Get along to it, baby. And also, you can still donate to our GoFundMe. It's at tinyurl.com/WRA10, where you can donate to Gotcha for Life, an awesome charity supporting men's mental health here in Australia. You can also support that by going onto Redbubble, searching for Wrestle Radio Australia, getting our merch there. Proceeds going to Gotcha for Life and Beyond Blue. If you do that, you're going to find our 10 years strong shirt made specifically for our 10th anniversary. And you can find links to all of those things at WrestleRadioAustralia.com. Is there anything I've missed, boys?
Yeah. In 3, 2, 1.
Todd, anything else?
That's it, man. I've got all my shows are done for the year now, except for Wynnum on the 1st. I'm done for the year for shows.
Beautiful.
So.
I'm almost done for the year as well. It's going to be nice to wrap it up, and I'm sure we'll have some big end year stuff here as we wrap up what has been a huge year for wrestling and for Wrestle Radio Australia, the 10th year anniversary of the show. 10 years strong, boys and girls.
It is worth mentioning if you're planning to go to BCW, I think it'll be, by the time this drops, it'll be tonight if we get it up tomorrow. The cat from WCW is not going to be there. It's a now discounted show. So, please go along and support local wrestling, but it won't feature the cat from WCW.
No, it's Slex is taking his spot in the main, though.
Yeah, and that's never disappointing.
Good programming note there. Well, I've been Lachlan Albert on behalf of Jeff Seti and Todd Eastman. Till next time, have a good one.
I always... I was thank you.
I was clear.
Here I was, blaming AEW for feeding you chicken shit, knowing you mindless millennials would be eating it up as if it were chicken salad, when it's really been your fault all along.
Make chicken salad out of chicken shit.